Today we are going to create mandalas. These mandalas will have radial symmetry. That means all of the parts of our mandala will be the same and equal. In order for us to make sure that our mandalas are the same and equal, we're going to use a special art-making process called carbon transfer. The materials I'm going to be using today are this paper with our mandala form and a small pie piece next to it. I'm also going to be using a pencil. First thing I must do is what? That's right, I need to write my name and art code in the space provided. Once I have written my name and art code, I'm going to plan out my design for my mandala. In order to make sure that all of the pieces are the same, I'm going to use this one pie piece on the side to start my first design that I'm going to copy on every spot. So when I'm planning this design, I want to think about different kinds of lines and shapes that I can draw inside of this pie shape. Once I have planned out the design on my pie shape, I'm going to cut it out using my scissors. I want to make sure I cut along the edge of the gray line so that when I'm placing my pie shape onto my mandala, it's going to match up perfectly. Now, I have my pie piece. This is the part where we're going to start our carbon transfer. Say it. Carbon transfer is a special process that takes the same image and repeats it over and over again. Now, what we need to do is we need to use our pencil to create our carbon. So I'm going to flip my pie piece over so that my design is on the bottom. I'm now going to use the side of my pencil and completely color in, completely shade in my pie piece. Notice that I'm using pressure so that my shading is really dark. I also want to make sure I don't leave any pieces of my pie empty. I want to cover the whole thing. If I'm just shading my lines in like this, my transfer is not going to work. So I want to make sure that I'm covering it all the way so that my entire pie piece is shaded. Notice that I'm also using the side of my pencil to shade in quickly. Once I have my pie piece shaded, I'm going to flip it back over. I'm going to match up one of my pie pieces onto my mandala. Once it's matched up, I'm going to use my same pencil and I'm going to outline my design over again on top of the lines I've already created. I'm using this hand to make sure that my pie piece stays flat. I'm using pressure when I am drawing on top of my design. That means I'm pressing a little bit harder than normal. My pie piece has transferred onto my mandala. The way that this has happened is that when I put pressure on my design, the pencil marks that I have shaded on the bottom are pushing through and onto my paper. Now, notice that they're a little bit light, so in order to make sure I can see my design, I'm going to outline them again onto my mandala. Once I have finished one piece of my mandala, I can move on to the next one. I'm going to use my same pie piece and place it onto a new empty pie spot. I want to line it up to make sure that it matches, and then using my pencil, I'm going to outline again. If I forget part of my design, I can just put my pie piece right on top again and draw on top of the part that I forgot. Once I have finished my second one, I can keep going until I have finished my entire mandala. I now have completed my mandala. Notice that all of the sides of my mandala are the same and equal. Once I have completed my design with pencil using my CarbonTransfer process, I then can use markers to add color. How are you going to design your mandala today?